When we think of staying healthy after 60, the first advice we hear is always the same: just walk more. Walking has become a symbol of active aging, safe, simple, familiar, and yes, walking is good. But sometimes good isn't enough. Sometimes the body needs something deeper, something that doesn't just move your feet, but reawakens your muscles, your balance, your confidence, and even your brain chemistry. There's one exercise that does exactly that. It's not complicated. It doesn't need a gym or fancy equipment. Yet it activates nearly every major muscle group in your body, triggers balance reflexes, and stimulates the very brain circuits that keep you strong, focused, and emotionally stable. It's called squatting, the most natural, primal human movement. Now, don't panic. I don't mean the heavy barbell kind you see in gyms. I mean controlled body weight squats, gentle, slow, intentional. The kind that remind your body what it was built to do: rise, stabilize, and carry you through life with strength. When you lower your body into a squat, you are telling your muscles and your brain that you still intend to live actively. Every rep sends a message through your nervous system: I'm not done yet. And your body listens. The legs engage, the core stabilizes, the heart pumps, and a small surge of dopamine, the brain's motivation chemical, is released. That's why movement feels good after you start. It's not just about muscles. It's about the brain's reward loop reigniting. You see, as we age, the problem isn't just physical decline. It's the gradual loss of reward balance. The older body often moves less, not because it can't, but because the brain's motivation system becomes quieter. Modern comfort amplifies this problem. We sit longer, we move less, and the body forgets how to rise. But each time you perform a squat, even with support or partial depth, you reawaken that circuitry. The same neural pathways that once propelled you upstairs, across fields, through life. Walking moves you forward, yes, but squatting builds the foundation that allows you to keep walking. It strengthens the large muscles that protect the knees, hips, and spine. It prevents the slow collapse that so often sneaks up with age. The rounding shoulders, the stiff gait, the shrinking sense of power. Squatting reverses that decline by sending a new signal to your body: stand tall, stay capable, stay alive. Now imagine doing this every day, not as punishment, but as practice. Start with a chair behind you, hold onto a countertop if you need to, and slowly lower yourself halfway down, then rise again. Even 5 repetitions are enough to begin reawakening dormant muscle fibers. Over time, you'll notice changes: steadier balance, stronger legs, deeper breathing, better posture. And perhaps most importantly, a subtle but powerful sense of control returning to your mind. That's the real miracle of this movement. It's not about fitness trends or miracle cures. It's about reconnecting to your body, a relationship that modern life often silences. The act of squatting reestablishes a conversation between your mind and your muscles, one that says, we are still in this together. So when someone tells you that walking is enough, remember, walking keeps you moving, but squatting keeps you strong, and strength at any age is the foundation of independence. Do it daily. Do it mindfully. Do it not just for your body, but for your brain, for that quiet voice inside that still wants to stand tall, move freely, and live fully. Because after 60, the goal isn't just to keep going. The goal is to keep growing. When we think about staying healthy after 60, walking always seems to be the first recommendation that comes to mind. It is simple, accessible, low risk, and widely accepted as the cornerstone of movement for older adults. Doctors, friends, and even family members constantly encourage it. Take a brisk walk, a leisurely stroll, or even just a few minutes around the block. Walking certainly has its benefits. It improves circulation, gently engages muscles, supports cardiovascular health, and keeps the joints moving. Yet, there is a deeper truth that often goes unnoticed. Walking alone, while helpful, is rarely enough to fully maintain the body's strength, coordination, and vitality as we age. It is a baseline, but baselines do not create transformation. They maintain, they preserve, they slow the inevitable, but they do not reverse it. As we age, our muscles, tendons, and nervous system naturally begin to lose efficiency. Sarcopenia, or age-related muscle loss, begins subtly, often without our immediate awareness. The legs may feel slightly weaker, balance may falter, and small movements that once required little effort now take extra focus. Walking, repetitive and limited in its movement range, cannot fully challenge or rebuild these deep muscle fibers. While it keeps the body moving, it does not send the message to the nervous system that we intend to remain strong, capable, and resilient. There is a disconnect between mere activity and intentional strengthening. To truly maintain independence, confidence, and functional mobility, the body needs more than motion. It needs reawakening. Reawakening is the process of reconnecting the brain with the muscles that have become dormant or under-used over time. The body is a living network of communication, with the brain sending signals to muscles and the muscles in turn sending feedback to the brain. When movements become habitual and limited, like the repetitive stride of walking, Many muscles are engaged only minimally and neural pathways begin to weaken. This is not simply physical, it is neurological. The brain begins to accept reduced capacity as normal, lowering the threshold for what it believes the body can do. The challenge then is to interrupt this cycle. To tell the body in the most fundamental way that strength, stability, and vitality are still priorities. This requires an exercise that goes beyond simple locomotion, one that engages multiple muscle groups, challenges balance, and stimulates the nervous system in a profound way. This is why certain exercises, though simple, can be far more transformative than walking alone. They reconnect the body with its natural capacity for strength and stability. Unlike walking, which largely engages the same repetitive motions, these movements require conscious control, full range of motion, and deliberate effort. They send powerful signals to the nervous system. The body is alive, the muscles are needed, and the brain must remain attentive. It is a conversation between intention and action, a dialogue that reminds both body and mind that age does not dictate weakness. When the body receives this message consistently, remarkable things happen. Muscle fibers grow stronger, coordination improves, balance is restored, and confidence returns. Everyday tasks become easier. Standing, climbing stairs, or lifting objects no longer feel like challenges but like natural extensions of the body's capability. The psychological dimension of this reawakening cannot be underestimated. After decades of life, habits of comfort and caution can dominate. Many older adults unconsciously reduce their movement because they fear strain, pain, or injury, yet this very caution accelerates decline. The act of intentionally engaging in a strengthening movement, one that requires effort but is performed safely, sends a powerful message not only to the muscles but also to the mind. The body is still capable. Motivation and confidence, both deeply rooted in the brain's reward systems, are reignited with each deliberate movement. The person performing the exercise experiences a sense of agency, of control, and of mastery. This feeling, subtle at first, then increasingly pronounced, is what separates mere survival from thriving. It is a reminder that age is not a limitation, but a stage of life where mindful action can yield exponential returns. Moreover, this reawakening is cumulative. Each session reinforces the connection between mind and body, gradually rewiring the nervous system for greater efficiency and strength. Walking can complement this process, providing cardiovascular benefit and gentle movement, but it cannot replace the intensity and specificity of targeted, intentional exercises. To rely on walking alone is to accept a slow, imperceptible decline, a decline that can be countered with purposeful, well-designed movements that speak directly to the body's need for engagement, stimulation, and renewal. It is a practice of resilience, a commitment to reclaiming what may feel like lost capacity, and a profound act of self-respect. In essence, walking is good, it is comfortable and familiar. But the body after 60 craves more than the familiar. It craves activation, reconnection, and challenge. It craves a deliberate message that says, I am still strong, still capable, still alive. By embracing exercises that reach beyond walking, we honor the body's full potential. We awaken dormant strength, rebuild coordination, and restore the confidence that sustains independence. This is the difference between moving through life and truly thriving in it. Walking alone maintains the baseline. Intentional reawakening moves the body and mind toward renewal, vitality, and empowerment. After 60, that difference is not just important, it is transformative. Squatting is more than a simple movement. It is a fundamental human pattern that has been embedded in our bodies for tens of thousands of years. Before chairs and modern conveniences, humans naturally moved through life by sitting low, bending, lifting, and rising repeatedly. This primal motion is at the core of strength, balance, and mobility. Yet in modern life, it has largely been forgotten. After 60, when muscles and joints begin to weaken, reconnecting with this basic movement can be transformative, far beyond the benefits of walking alone. It engages not just one or two muscle groups, but almost the entire body, creating a foundation for health, independence, and vitality. Unlike walking, which primarily involves forward motion and repetitive, low-level engagement of the legs, squatting requires controlled coordination for multiple areas simultaneously. The quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes, and calves all contract and lengthen in precise harmony. At the same time, the core stabilizes, protecting the spine and maintaining balance. Even the upper body is engaged, particularly if arms are extended forward or held for support. Each repetition is a full body dialogue, a reminder that the muscles are not simply passive structures, but active participants in the body's ability to function. For someone over 60, this is crucial. Muscles that are neglected begin to atrophy, joints lose lubrication, the nervous system receives fewer signals, which decreases coordination and stability. The squat restores this communication, reawakening muscles that may have been dormant for years. Beyond the physical, the squat carries profound neurological benefits. Every time we bend and rise, the brain receives constant feedback about balance, spatial awareness, and coordination. It is not simply a movement, it is a form of exercise for the nervous system. As we age, the nervous system naturally slows, reflexes weaken, and the brain receives fewer signals from the body. A controlled squat challenges these systems, forcing the brain to actively engage with the body. The small victories, rising steadily without support, maintaining posture, controlling descent, trigger the release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with motivation, reward, and a sense of accomplishment. This subtle chemical response reinforces the action, making it not only physically restorative but emotionally rewarding as well. The beauty of the squat lies in its adaptability. It is not an exercise reserved for gyms or athletic individuals. For those over 60, modifications make it accessible to nearly everyone. A chair can serve as support, allowing partial depth to build confidence and prevent strain. Holding onto a countertop or wall provides additional stability while still engaging muscles fully. Even these adaptations send a signal to the body: effort matters, control matters, and strength is reclaimable. Consistency over time transforms the movement from a cautious attempt into a source of empowerment. As muscles grow stronger, joints become more flexible, and balance improves. With each repetition, the body learns what it is capable of, defying the limitations that age often imposes psychologically. The squat also addresses a common but often overlooked problem after 60: the weakening of large, stabilizing muscles that are essential for daily life. Muscles such as the glutes and quadriceps are crucial for standing from a chair, climbing stairs, or preventing falls. When these muscles are underused, the risk of injury rises dramatically and confidence in movement declines. Walking alone does little to activate these large stabilizers fully, whereas squats target them directly. By integrating this single, primal movement into daily routines, individuals rebuild a foundational strength that supports all other activities. The effect is cumulative: strength begets balance, balance begets confidence, and confidence begets independence. Psychologically, the squat reconnects individuals with a sense of agency and resilience. Modern life often conditions older adults to be cautious, passive, or overly protective of their bodies. This caution, while understandable, inadvertently accelerates weakness. Every controlled squat, however small, sends a signal that the body is capable and resilient. Each repetition is a small declaration: the body can rise, the mind can direct, and strength can be reclaimed. This psychological reinforcement is as important as the physical strengthening. It fosters a renewed sense of confidence in everyday life, reducing fear of movement and encouraging active participation in activities that might have once seemed daunting. Consistency is key. Even a few mindful squats each day, performed with attention to form and control, can yield significant benefits over weeks and months. The movement is deceptively simple, yet its impact is profound. It strengthens muscles, restores balance, stimulates the nervous system, and encourages dopamine-driven motivation. Importantly, it restores the natural rhythm of movement that the human body evolved to perform, a rhythm that modern sedentary habits often suppress. By embracing squats as a daily practice, individuals over 60 can reclaim strength, mobility, and independence in a way that walking alone cannot achieve. Ultimately, the squat is more than an exercise. It is a reconnection to what the body was designed to do. It is a message to muscles, joints, and the nervous system that strength, balance, and control still matter. It is a practice that rebuilds not only the body but also confidence and autonomy. Walking moves the body forward, but squatting lays the foundation for sustained health, independence, and vitality. For those over 60, this single primal movement is a bridge to renewed strength, reminding us that age is not a limitation, but an opportunity to reclaim what we may have thought was lost. Movement is not just a physical activity, it is a language between the body and the brain. Every intentional exercise sends messages to the nervous system, reminding it that strength, balance, and control are still priorities. For those over 60, this communication becomes increasingly critical because it is not only the muscles that weaken with age, but also the brain's engagement with the body. One of the most powerful aspects of targeted movement, such as the controlled squat, is that it activates the brain's reward system, particularly through the release of dopamine. This chemical, often called the motivation molecule, plays a vital role in how we initiate, persist, and enjoy movement, and it is intimately connected to both physical and mental well-being. Dopamine is not simply about pleasure, it is about signaling the brain that a certain behavior is valuable, worth repeating, and rewarding. As we age, dopamine levels naturally decline, making motivation and engagement more challenging. Everyday activities that once seemed effortless, rising from a chair, climbing stairs, reaching for objects, require more conscious effort. The release of dopamine during movement is the brain's way of saying, "This action matters. You are capable. Keep going." When older adults perform targeted exercises like squats, they trigger small but meaningful surges of this neurotransmitter, reinforcing the connection between effort and reward. Over time, this not only strengthens the body but also reactivates the brain's motivation circuits, fostering a sense of accomplishment, empowerment, and agency. The beauty of this process is that it integrates physical and mental health in a seamless way. The body grows stronger because muscles are being recruited and challenged. The brain becomes more engaged because it receives a chemical signal that effort is worthwhile. This combination is particularly potent after 60, when physical decline can feel discouraging and motivation may wane. Each deliberate repetition is a reformation of capability, a small victory that compounds over days, weeks, and months. The brain begins to recognize that effort produces tangible results, and the mind, in turn, encourages further activity. This cycle of reinforcement is a critical mechanism for maintaining health and independence in later life. It is important to recognize that not all movement produces the same level of neurological engagement. Walking, while beneficial for cardiovascular health and general mobility, is largely repetitive and predictable. It engages muscles in a limited range and provides minimal stimulation to the brain's reward pathways. Targeted exercises like squats, however, require coordination, balance, and control, demanding the brain to actively participate in the motion. This engagement is what differentiates movement that simply maintains the status quo from movement that actively rebuilds strength, confidence, and resilience. By combining muscular effort with neurological activation, these exercises produce a holistic benefit that walking alone cannot match. The impact of dopamine-driven motivation extends beyond the exercise itself. When the brain experiences small surges of this neurotransmitter, it becomes easier to adopt and maintain new healthy habits. Performing a squat today encourages the brain to repeat it tomorrow. Over time, this reinforcement builds a foundation of consistent movement, which is critical for sustaining physical and mental health. The exercise becomes self-reinforcing, the body strengthens, the brain motivates, and the individual gains confidence in their ability to take control of their health. This process highlights the intimate connection between mind and body, showing that true vitality is not just a product of muscles or joints, but of an engaged, responsive, and motivated nervous system. Moreover, this neurological engagement has profound implications for emotional well-being. Aging is often accompanied by subtle declines in mood, energy, and drive, partly due to changes in brain chemistry. Dopamine released during movement can counteract these declines by producing a sense of reward, satisfaction, and purpose. The act of rising and lowering the body, of controlling every motion with awareness and precision, generates not only physical strength but also a quiet but powerful sense of accomplishment. This emotional reinforcement is essential for maintaining motivation and a positive outlook, which are as critical to longevity as muscle mass or cardiovascular health. The psychological impact of this exercise should not be underestimated. Each time an individual over 60 performs a controlled squat and experiences the small surge of dopamine, they are reminded of their capability, their resilience, and their autonomy. This reinforces a mindset that aging is not a passive decline, but an opportunity to rebuild, strengthen, and re-engage with life. The interplay between brain chemistry and physical activity creates a feedback loop that sustains progress. It is a subtle, elegant, and scientifically grounded mechanism that ensures movement is not just mechanical, but deeply empowering. Finally, it is important to recognize that the benefits of this dopamine-driven approach are cumulative. Initial repetitions may feel small, modest, or even challenging, but each session builds upon the previous one, gradually strengthening the muscles, reinforcing neural pathways, and deepening the sense of mastery. Over time, the brain begins to anticipate reward, the body becomes more capable, and the individual experiences a profound shift in both physical and mental well-being. Walking can move the body forward, but exercises that actively stimulate dopamine circuits, like squats, move both the body and the brain toward a renewed sense of purpose, vitality, and independence. In essence, movement after 60 is not just about physical fitness. It is about creating a dialogue between the body and the brain, a conversation that fosters strength, balance, confidence, and emotional resilience. Targeted exercises that stimulate dopamine release are uniquely powerful because they engage both muscle and mind. They transform routine activity into a reinforcing cycle of motivation, accomplishment, and renewal. By embracing these movements, older adults not only maintain health but also cultivate a deep sense of agency and empowerment, proving that age is not a limitation but an opportunity for growth, vitality, and purposeful living. Aging is often framed as a process of inevitable decline, a gradual surrender to weakness, loss, and limitation. Yet the reality is far more nuanced. While the body does change over time, much of what we perceive as decline is not an unavoidable biological fate, but the result of reduced activity, underuse of muscles, and diminished engagement between the brain and body. The concept of balance is central to understanding how to thrive after 60. True health in later life is not simply about avoiding injury or staying upright. It is about maintaining equilibrium across multiple systems, muscular, neurological, and psychological, so that strength, confidence, and autonomy are preserved. Walking, while beneficial, does not fully address this multifaceted need for balance. To age well, one must actively rebuild the structures and systems that support it. Muscle loss is one of the most visible markers of aging, yet it is also one of the most preventable. Large stabilizing muscles, such as the quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes, and core muscles, play an essential role in maintaining posture, supporting joint integrity, and preventing falls. When these muscles are underused, the body's center of gravity shifts, posture deteriorates, and balance becomes precarious. This is why so many older adults experience unsteady gait, difficulty rising from chairs, or fear of walking on uneven surfaces. Balance, in this context, is not simply a static ability, it is the dynamic interplay of strength, coordination, and neural control. Exercises that challenge these systems, such as controlled squats, are uniquely effective because they simultaneously engage muscles and retrain the nervous system to respond efficiently to movement. The nervous system, often overlooked in discussions of aging, is a critical component of balance. The brain constantly monitors signals from muscles, joints, and sensory organs to coordinate movement and maintain stability. When movement is limited or repetitive, the nervous system receives fewer inputs, leading to slower reflexes, reduced coordination, and a higher risk of falls. Targeted exercises after 60 are not just physical, they are neurological. Each controlled squat or similar movement provides the brain with rich, varied sensory input. The act of lowering and rising, adjusting balance, and maintaining posture forces the nervous system to stay alert and responsive. Over time, this strengthens neural pathways, improves reaction times, and enhances overall stability. Balance is also deeply connected to psychology. Fear of falling or a sense of frailty can lead older adults to restrict movement, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of weakness and caution. This fear is not imaginary, it is rooted in real experiences and the awareness of vulnerability. Yet deliberate, structured exercises that engage balance and strength directly challenge this narrative. When a person over 60 successfully completes a controlled movement, maintains posture, or rises steadily from a squat, it reinforces the belief that the body is capable. Confidence grows, fear diminishes, and the individual becomes more willing to move freely in everyday life. In this sense, balance is not only a physical state but also a psychological one, a harmony between perception and reality. Consistency amplifies these benefits. One-off efforts or sporadic activity can stimulate muscles temporarily but rarely produce lasting improvement in balance or coordination. The body and brain require repeated, deliberate engagement to adapt. Small daily practices, 5 mindful squats, for example, create cumulative effects. Muscle fibers strengthen, joint stability improves, and the nervous system becomes more responsive. Each session is a signal to the body that stability and control are priorities, gradually reversing the subtle deterioration that often accompanies aging. Over time, this practice leads to a profound shift in overall equilibrium, making movement feel natural, effortless, and confident. Balance also extends beyond physical stability to encompass broader aspects of life. Independence, autonomy, and quality of life are intimately tied to the ability to move without fear. The simple act of rising from a chair, climbing stairs, or walking on uneven terrain becomes a measure of freedom. Exercises that target balance restore not just muscles but the ability to engage fully with daily life. They are preventive, rehabilitative, and empowering all at once. When performed consistently, these exercises create a foundation that supports all other forms of activity. Walking, while beneficial for circulation and endurance, does not provide this same depth of stimulation. Only exercises that challenge both muscles and the nervous system can achieve this level of holistic balance. Importantly, the concept of balance in aging is not limited to physical dimensions. It encompasses the interplay between effort and reward, activity and rest, mind and body. When older adults engage in structured movements that challenge their stability and strength, they are also engaging the brain's reward circuits. Each successful repetition releases dopamine, reinforcing the behavior and providing emotional satisfaction. This creates a feedback loop in which physical improvement fuels psychological confidence, and psychological confidence motivates further physical activity. Balance, in this sense, is holistic. It is the integration of body, brain, and mind working together to maintain autonomy and vitality. In conclusion, aging does not have to mean decline. Balance, physical, neurological, and psychological, is the key to thriving after 60. While walking has its place, it cannot fully address the complex needs of muscles, joints, and the nervous system. Deliberate, structured exercises that engage strength, coordination, and neurological pathways are essential. They rebuild stability, restore confidence, and reinforce the brain's sense of capability. By prioritizing balance, older adults reclaim not just movement, but independence, resilience, and quality of life. Balance is the bridge between mere survival and thriving. It is the foundation upon which strength, confidence, and purpose are built, proving that age is not a limitation, but an opportunity for renewal. Consistency is one of the most overlooked aspects of maintaining health and vitality after 60, yet it is also one of the most powerful. Many people think that achieving strength or independence in later life requires dramatic effort, long hours in the gym, or complex routines. The truth is far simpler. It is not about intensity or volume alone, but about steady, mindful engagement over time. Even small, consistent movements performed daily can produce profound changes in muscle strength, balance, coordination, and overall well-being. This principle is particularly important for older adults because the body and brain respond to repetition, reinforcement, and gradual challenge more effectively than to occasional bursts of effort. What may appear minimal at first, 5 mindful squats a day, a controlled lift, or a gentle stretch can accumulate into significant physical transformation and renewed confidence. The concept of consistency is intimately connected to the nervous system. As we age, neural pathways that control movement and coordination naturally lose efficiency due to decreased use. Repeated, deliberate movement serves as a form of neurological exercise. Each time an older adult engages in a controlled squat, lifts, or balance-focused movement, they are sending repeated signals to the brain the body is still capable, movement is still important, and these neural circuits must remain active. Over time, this repetition strengthens both the physical muscles and the neurological pathways that coordinate them. The result is a body that moves with greater ease, stability, and confidence. What may feel small in the moment, a single squat, a few repetitions, is in fact a building block of long-term independence. Consistency also plays a critical role in habit formation, which is essential for sustainable health practices. When a movement is performed regularly, even in small doses, it becomes part of daily life rather than a separate, burdensome task. The brain begins to anticipate the action, making it easier to execute without resistance or internal debate. This automaticity is crucial after 60, when motivation can waver due to subtle declines in energy, mood, or dopamine levels. By embedding simple, purposeful exercises into a routine, older adults create a cycle of reinforcement. The body strengthens, the mind recognizes progress, and the behavior becomes self-sustaining. This positive feedback loop amplifies the benefits of each session, transforming what might seem like minor effort into significant, long-term improvement. Another vital aspect of consistency is its role in maintaining independence. The ability to perform everyday activities, standing from a chair, climbing stairs, carrying groceries, reaching overhead, depends on muscle memory, coordination, and confidence. Sporadic exercise may provide momentary strength, but without regular reinforcement, these gains quickly diminish. The body and mind need repeated practice to retain functional ability. Each consistent movement reinforces the skills necessary for independence, reducing the risk of falls, injuries, and the frustration or dependence that can accompany physical decline. This principle illustrates that strength is not simply about bulk or size, but about the ability to control one's body reliably and safely in daily life. Consistency also has profound psychological benefits. The act of engaging in a daily routine of mindful movement instills a sense of discipline, purpose, and achievement. After 60, individuals may experience subtle feelings of limitation, diminished energy, or fear of decline. Regular exercise, even in small amounts, provides repeated opportunities to experience success, reinforce autonomy, and regain a sense of agency over one's own body. This is particularly significant because physical and mental health are deeply interconnected. The confidence and empowerment gained through consistent movement translate into improved motivation, mood, and engagement in other areas of life. In this way, consistency strengthens both the body and the mind, creating a holistic sense of resilience and capability. Moreover, consistent exercise is cumulative. Results may not be immediately dramatic, but over weeks and months, small efforts compound into substantial improvements. Muscle fibers that were once dormant awaken, coordination improves, and joint stability is restored. These changes not only enhance physical ability, but also reduce the likelihood of injury, improve posture, and make everyday movements feel more natural. The body, when consistently challenged in a safe and structured manner, adapts to become stronger, more stable, and more efficient. The concept of cumulative progress underscores the importance of not waiting for perfect conditions or dramatic effort. What matters most is the repetition and reliability of action over time. Consistency also supports adaptability. Life after 60 is rarely static. There are fluctuations in energy, health, and daily demands. By establishing a routine of small, consistent exercises, older adults create a foundation that allows them to adapt to these changes. When unexpected challenges arise, illness, travel, or temporary discomfort, the strength, coordination, and confidence gained through consistent practice provide a buffer. The body and mind are better prepared to respond, recover, and maintain independence despite life's unpredictability. This is a critical aspect of resilience, emphasizing that long-term health is built not on sporadic bursts of effort, but on steady, reliable engagement. Ultimately, the message is clear: consistency is transformative. Even small daily actions performed mindfully have the power to rebuild strength, restore confidence, and maintain independence after 60. It is not the size of each session, but the regularity and intention behind it that matters most. By committing to repeated, deliberate movement, older adults reinforce neural pathways, strengthen muscles, and cultivate a sense of agency and accomplishment. Over time, this consistency produces a compounding effect that sustains vitality, balance, and autonomy. After 60, the key to thriving is not only to move, but to move consistently, mindfully, and purposefully, allowing small, persistent efforts to create profound, lasting transformation. Strength is often misunderstood, especially after 60. Many assume it is measured by size, speed, or athletic prowess, but true strength is far more profound. It is not merely a physical attribute, it is the foundation of independence, confidence, and resilience. It is what allows a person to rise from a chair without hesitation, navigate stairs with ease, and carry out daily activities without fear. More importantly, strength represents the body's ability to adapt, recover, and thrive despite the natural changes that come with aging. While walking and other low-intensity movements provide basic mobility, they rarely cultivate this deep, functional strength. True strength comes from intentional, deliberate exercise that engages the whole body, challenges the nervous system, and reactivates the muscles that have been underused for years. Strength after 60 is transformative because it directly impacts autonomy. Independence is one of the most valued aspects of life, and yet it is also one of the most vulnerable. Simple tasks that were once taken for granted, standing from a chair, reaching overhead, lifting groceries, can become challenging without sufficient muscular support. The ability to perform these tasks safely and efficiently hinges on the development of functional strength, which is far more meaningful than strength for appearance or performance. Each repetition of a deliberate exercise, such as a controlled squat or a balance-focused movement, is a building block that supports the body's capacity to function fully. The stronger the foundation, the more freedom and confidence a person experiences in everyday life. The concept of functional strength is deeply tied to how the body and brain communicate. Muscles do not operate in isolation, they work in tandem with the nervous system, which coordinates balance, posture, and movement. As we age, these neural pathways naturally lose efficiency, making movement less precise and increasing the risk of injury. Targeted exercises that challenge strength also engage the brain. Controlled squats, for example, require awareness, coordination, and effort. Each descent and rise sends critical signals through the nervous system, reinforcing the connection between intention and action. Over time, this practice strengthens both the body and the brain, creating a resilient system capable of handling the demands of daily life. Strength in this sense is not just physical, it is neurological, functional, and deeply empowering. There is also a psychological dimension to strength. As muscles weaken and balance diminishes, many older adults experience subtle fear, hesitation, or self-doubt. This fear, while understandable, can become self-limiting, reducing activity levels and accelerating decline. Intentional strength-building exercises counteract this by producing repeated successes, however small. Each time a person rises smoothly from a squat, maintains balance, or completes a controlled repetition, the brain releases dopamine, the chemical associated with reward, motivation, and reinforcement. This neurological response reinforces the behavior, making the individual more confident, motivated, and willing to continue. Strength, therefore, becomes a feedback loop. Physical capability enhances psychological confidence, which in turn encourages further physical engagement, creating an ongoing cycle of empowerment and resilience. Consistency in strength building is crucial. Functional strength is not developed in a single session or through sporadic effort, it is cultivated through regular, deliberate practice. Even small, manageable exercises performed daily accumulate into significant improvements over time. Muscle fibers that were dormant awaken, joint stability improves, and coordination is restored. This cumulative process also enhances the body's capacity to recover from challenges, whether it is an unexpected stair, an uneven surface, or a minor fall. Strength is preventive, providing a buffer against injury and loss of independence. It is not merely about performing well today, but preparing the body and mind to handle tomorrow with confidence. Another essential aspect of strength after 60 is its holistic impact on health. Strong muscles support the joints, reducing wear and tear and preventing common conditions such as knee or hip pain. They improve posture, protect the spine, and enhance balance. They also contribute to cardiovascular health by supporting movement, endurance, and circulation. Beyond the physical, strength contributes to emotional and mental well-being. The sense of capability and control that comes from being strong fosters resilience, reduces anxiety about daily activities, and encourages a more active, engaged lifestyle. In this way, strength becomes the foundation not only for physical health but for overall quality of life. Finally, strength embodies a broader principle: empowerment through action. After 60, many people accept limitations that are not truly inevitable. Age does not have to mean weakness or dependence. By intentionally engaging in exercises that build functional strength, individuals reclaim control over their bodies and their lives. Each repetition is an affirmation that the body is capable, the mind is engaged, and independence is achievable. True strength is the quiet but profound power to rise, move, and live fully, regardless of age. It is the ultimate declaration that aging is not a surrender but an opportunity to rebuild, renew, and thrive. In essence, strength after 60 is more than muscles. It is the foundation of freedom, resilience, and empowerment. It is built through consistent, intentional, functional movement that challenges the body, engages the nervous system, and reinforces the brain's sense of reward and capability. It transforms not only the physical body but also the mind, fostering confidence, independence, and a sense of agency. Strength is the ultimate tool for thriving in later life, proving that age is not a limitation but an invitation to reclaim vitality, capability, and purpose. It is the one attribute that underpins every aspect of life after 60, providing the foundation for independence, resilience, and true empowerment.